When you think of the problems Sonic Colors Ultimate has, you're probably thinking of but I have bigger eggs to crack. Yes, Sonic Team shouldn't have rushed out yet another buggy Sonic game, but I was able to complete the game without any glitches, and thanks to the magic of patches, they will hopefully be a non-issue sooner than later. I still can't believe Sonic Team patched out the only fun part of Rise of Lyric. So what's the issue then? Did Sonic Team not add enough content to the remaster? The new additions are alright. You can feel the added effort with the addition of the Jade Wisp, a remastered music score, and some extra content like costume customization, and graphic design is my passion, Rival Rush. Not to mention that playing the game just feels smoother overall because of the ability to play Ultimate at 60 FPS on my PC with significantly upscaled graphics. But let's be honest, every new addition is going to feel more like a letdown after we thought that we would be able to play as Tails instead of him roleplaying as Lakitu from Mario Kart.
Almost made it!
Thanks Tails, but can you let me go now? Please? These are all respectable upgrades as far as remasters go. You can tell they at least tried to provide value along with only hanging a $40 price tag on the game. It beats the hell out of Nintendo putting less effort into Mario 3D All-Stars than what I could get on Dolphin for free. If it's not new glitches and it's not new features, then what's wrong with Sonic Colors Ultimate? Well, if you look really closely, it's still Sonic Colors. I loved Colors growing up. It was always one of my go-to Sonic games like Adventure 2 if I wanted to pick up and play a few levels. But revisiting the game more in the last couple years, I realized it's just not the game I remember it being. I thought that Colors was another game in the vein of Generations and Unleashed with a healthier mix of 2D and 3D levels, but this game is almost entirely 2D. Even putting aside my personal dislike for 2D Sonic games, the Colors 2D segments just really aren't what makes 2D Sonic loved by so many players. Where's the rewarding buildup of momentum? Where are the bonus stages I'm god-awful at? I just want to play a Super Sonic. Sonic feels really good to control, and the branching paths that you always find in 2D Sonic games are still there, but the segments in Colors Ultimate feel more like Mario than Sonic, with a focus on waiting, platform jumping, and the discouragement of speed, which you can definitely still build up in 2D Mario games. I get that the 2D sections are put in with the goal of slowing Sonic down so he can't spam boosts in the 3D sections forever, but it feels like Sonic Team lost what made 2D Sonic fun for a lot of people as a result in the Colors level design. When has waiting ever been fun? Oh boy, 2 more hours. Putting the 2D level design in Sonic Colors aside, Sonic Team, if you want to have 2D in your 3D Sonic game, fine. It's not for me, and I think 3D Sonic would be better off without it. But why do you advertise Sonic Colors Ultimate like it's so focused on 3D? Once I noticed that the marketing for Colors Ultimate painted the game as the latest and greatest 3D Sonic adventure, it drove me crazy. The 2D sections are barely shown at all in the trailers leading up to the game's release, and it really makes me confused about what Sega's intentions were. I know Colors Ultimate is a re-release of an old game, but if you know we love fully 3D Sonic, then make a fully 3D Sonic game. It can definitely be done again, even if they decide to keep the boost mechanic around instead of in the garbage where it belongs. It comes down to creating levels with more engaging platforming challenges that boost is sometimes used to help overcome, instead of being the button they use to ignore the problems. More fluid control of Sonic in a 3D space and less hallways also goes a long way. But the gameplay in Sonic Colors Ultimate isn't just 2D versus 3D, it also introduced us to the Wisps. I like these little guys.
Your, smiling faces are all the thanks I need.
It was a cool concept to have Sonic transform and interact with the levels differently depending on what Wisp he had at his disposal. On one hand, it gives the game some replay value by requiring Wisps you unlock later to fully complete earlier levels, but on the other hand, it makes me feel like I'm playing a Metroidvania in my Go Fast Sonic game, and I don't know if I like that. Making the transition into Wisp activation smoother instead of the long startup they have would have made a big difference towards Wisps integrating better into the usual fast-paced Sonic gameplay we love. Even though they contribute to the problem of mechanics added in just to slow Sonic down, I think the Wisps are just fine in Colors Ultimate. Every Sonic game has their gameplay gimmicks after all. They just overstay their welcome by coming back in Lost World and Forces when they had no reason to be there. The Wisps are almost never integral to beating the level in those games and usually just got in the way. Alright, time to go to the grocery store. Just gotta get down to my car.
Sounds like you need some help from the ladder, Wisp.
No, that's fine. I can just take the stairs.
Come on, it'll be awesome. Ladder!
That's a ladder?
Well, there's some self-assembly required. Just gotta follow these instructions. Warning! Failure to read and follow these instructions could result in serious injury or death. You must be familiar with the operation of this product prior to use.
There isn't a level in Colors Ultimate that jumps out at me and makes me say, that's the one I'm gonna tell my grandkids about if I get that far. But my favorite level is probably Act 1 of Asteroid Coaster. It's the only level in Colors that's almost entirely 3D and gives Sonic freedom to move around in that space. Why did they only design one level in the game that actively encouraged platforming and discouraged boosting? I would love Colors if the game was more like Asteroid Coaster Act 1, but then the rest of the Asteroid Coaster levels were shit. Just gonna keep going round and round until the level finishes itself. Most levels in Colors Ultimate aren't that long, with the 3D sections mostly consisting of sidestep dashing, grinding, or long hallways full of harmless enemies to boost through. There's also a lot of levels that are very short and exclusively 2D. I wasn't actively trying to finish levels as fast as possible, but there was at least one in every park that I finished in a minute. I've had staring contests longer than that. Fuck! Sure, you can make the point that some of those levels would be longer if I went for completion and had the necessary wisps to do more in them, but that's still pretty ridiculous. Especially when you consider that a casual playthrough of Colors can be finished comfortably in about 4 or 5 hours. I'll always take quality over quantity, but Colors Ultimate doesn't always have that either. Besides the often short levels full of mediocre 2D segments, 3 out of the 7 bosses in the game are recycled, with the final boss being by far the best of the 7. Mr. Crab Robot Guy made me rage harder than playing Smash Ultimate Online. Why is his middle laser light not programmed correctly in a remake? You can't even see it! Even one of the regular enemies is just a Lakitu that doesn't go away and is way too hard to avoid. Wait a minute. Where have I seen him before? Annoying spike throwing enemies. Wisps. Long 3D hallways and short levels. A game that's too short in general. Boring 2D platforming. Only the final boss being good. A story that left fans frustrated. This is just Sonic Forces, isn't it? I don't understand why people bag on Forces so hard and like Colors when the two games are very similar in their gameplay, except the 2D platforming in Forces controls like a sack of wet potatoes. Is it because Colors came out at a time when Sonic was in a bad place so it seemed better by comparison and Forces released after a couple successes? Or maybe it's the idea of Colors walked so Forces should have been able to run 7 years later? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if I'm out of line on this one. I've never heard anyone make this comparison before and I want to know if I'm going crazy for thinking the two games are at all alike. Along with the in-game graphics, Sonic Team tried to upscale the in-engine cutscenes and they look rough.
Oh, Sonic, I thought you could survive underwater, buddy.
I wish the upscaling was the worst part of the cutscenes. The story isn't what makes a Sonic game good or bad, since most of them are mediocre at best with only a few exceptions. In fact, Sonic Colors Ultimate has a great premise for a Sonic story. Eggman builds an interplanetary amusement park. Hey, he took the 5 planets hostage before he decided to be a nice guy. It's cool. So Sonic and Tails show up to foil his latest evil plan that this time includes rescuing aliens instead of animals. Simple, effective. Let's print it so we can go home and eat ice cream. The issue isn't the plot itself, but how the script was written, as Colors has easily the worst writing of a 3D Sonic game after the adventures. Every character feels like they're just trying to out one-liner the rest of the cast while also having the back and forth prowess of a middle schooler doing improv for the first time. It's probably a byproduct of how rinse and repeat a lot of the cutscenes are, but they usually feel forced and unnecessary. Half of them are Tails mistranslating what Yacker says with toilet humor, or Cubot having the wrong voice chip. Thank God they got rid of this voice for him. Just stop. Having the option to beat the parks in whatever order you like only furthered the need for the episodic feeling cutscenes the game has. The simple plot might have been better suited for a 2D Sonic game. What bothers me the most is that Colors' mediocre writing and cutscenes gave a lot of Sonic fans a really bad first impression of Roger Craig Smith as Sonic's voice actor that he still hasn't recovered from. He's great in the Sonic Boom TV show, Rise of the Wisps, and I actually liked him in Forces. Sure, I'm glad he did away with the southern drawl that sometimes trickled in during his debut as Sonic in Colors, but I don't think it's fair to judge his Sonic off of only that game when the rest of the cast turned in performances that were just as was underwhelming. Even Mike Pollock wasn't immune to the bad scripting for Eggman.
Hasta la bye-bye, suckers!
Come on, Sonic Team never screws up Eggman! After an entire game of dialogue like this, Sonic calls Eggman out on some punny villain talk, even though that's what he's been doing the whole game too, so it feels like it just completely lacks self-awareness and ugh. Sorry, I get really passionate about the story in Sonic games. I'd say more about the ending, but they just beat Eggman, freed the Wisps, and saved the day.
Baby's gotta do what a baby's gotta do.
You know, I never thought that I'd miss the cutscenes in Lost World. At least it seems like they're getting back on track with how well done Rise of the Wisps was. It gives me hope for the story in the next Sonic game. If this was how Sonic was characterized until the end of time, I could die a happy man. Painfully single, but happy. Sonic Colors is a game that's loved by a lot of fans and reviewers alike. It gets a lot right in its music, controls, and aesthetic, and I understand why it's so well received, even if it's just not my cup of tea. There is no defending that story's writing, though. It's totally fine if you like Colors, but just take a minute to think. If you like Sonic Colors, then why don't you like Sonic Forces too? What's that? You don't like that Forces unnecessarily brought back classic Sonic for levels that paled in comparison to Mania's, had awful 2D platforming, wasted a really cool war-torn world story idea, got our hopes up only to dash them, and had a badly executed story that reduced Tails to nothing but a useless slug and wasted Infant's potential as a character? That's fair.
I think Sonic Forces is a great game!
Shut up, Ladder Wisp!